things the way they do here.
I know.
In fact, when we write home to get, like for marriage things, for interest, all this data about parents or grandparents things, all you get back is that, they didn't have, there must have been a fire in the church. There was no fire ever in any church near us were going up. They just didn't think it was that much importance. When a man would be going to a fair where this registry was, he'd be reminded that the weddings, the births, the deaths, to be sure to record them. Now, whatever date came into his mind probably went down. You know, just a week before this, there wasn't. In real early records, the witness, the marriage, the woman's name would be out sometimes. There'd be just a dash.
Oh no!
And we know definitely that this Mary Kelly or someone was. Why? No, it didn't seem that important.
It's really not agricultural.
So that back records.
No, there's something.
Back records were never really kept up the way that.
Well, tell us about your parents. Tell us about your parents.
Well, the cattle and horses, the wheat, I don't know what. They do some barley, I know.
Well, now you have the names. There were Thomas,
Right.
Thomas Lennon, and Gina Healy.
Right.
And
Right.
There's not a whole lot there. They were trying to.
they were, that would be like
plant other things.
1882, I think.
It's a pretty dry area.
They were 1882.
I think it would be 1882, their wedding.
Big state.
Oh, their wedding was between 1880 and 1882.
I think that's about the time. Because I know Sister Louisa's birthday
Everything that I do is in the
was 84 or something like that.
Yeah.
See, so,
And she was the oldest.
but you know,
that way. But it gets pretty dry. It gets drier.
you couldn't, they weren't exactly kept.
What do you think?
You sometimes didn't. But one of my sisters, Teresa St. Anne, was Anne. She was kind of good for keeping birthday. Will you stop that?
I think she's taking pictures of Matt.
Oh yeah,
Not of you,
that's
so don't worry.
She was good for kind of keeping a certain record of things. But not, they never went the way that the present generations go
Did your dad
as keeping that.
have a middle name?
A program?
A middle name?
I'm not sure.
How about your mother?
No, she was Bedelia, but Bridget would say, but Bedelia was her name.
Padelia?
B-E-D, Bedelia, just D-E-L-I-A.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Bedelia Healy.
I see.
Yes, yes, but they didn't, because even if they had a middle name at confirmation, they got a name, and so you didn't. Certainly getting all the things you'd be having to roam down. See, well, so in that way, there's a lot of things that would be missing with us, Like now, there were no grandparents living when I was born, except one grandmother, my mother's mother.
Who was that?
My mother's mother was the only one
Living.
was living at the time. And, as I grew up later, I often said all the things that they knew that we could have asked, but you just taught them as old people who didn't. Now, I know that I heard later on that they all used to know the different weeds or flowers or plants that they could use for dyeing things. We call that superstition. We didn't you know, that they could do. There was such and such a thing that they used. But we never knew that because we wouldn't even ask them because this was superstition and we didn't want to be caught up with superstition. So, but
Did you know their names
the names of what?
of your grandparents?
Well, yes, on my mother's side, she was Mary Ann Coy.
Mary Ann Coy.
Coy.
C-O-Y?
My grandmother on my mother's side. And John Healy.
John Healy was your grandfather.
Yes, on that, see.
Great.
On the other side, on my father's side, he was Patrick Lennon.
Patrick Lennon.
And I think Mary Kelly.
Mary Kelly.
Yes, those two were the. But other than that,
Do you know your great-grandparents' names?
Oh, no,
Not at all.
No. Even those, as I say, it was just this one little grandmother, and she used to come to visit. She visited her two married daughters, and she lived with the son. But he was married and had children, so she used to come to our house once or twice a week, be about a mile away along the road, and she'd go to the other daughter for another day or two. So we just saw her sitting around in the house by the fireside.
Now this is your grandmother.
My grandmother. Yes, just sitting by the fireside in the wintertime, very quiet. Had a very dainty little lady. You know, she was very small bone, small figures, you know, not very, very. In fact, every Sunday she used to come. Come on, see me. Every Sunday she used to come. And my young sister and myself were delegated after dinner on Sunday to go meet Granny. So we started off dressed up with hair ribbons, and we went along the road to meet her. And then we escorted her, one on either side, babbling away about school, such like, to the house. And there she stayed for a couple of hours. But there was one thing that you'll enjoy about that. She was there, kind of, my parents, because my father had very poor health when we were little. He had to go to the seaside for 2 weeks every summer. My mother went to take him. And she really minded going because some of us were very small at home.
Sure.
Not the oldest brother at home, the older sister kind of took care of things. See. But
Modesta, is your mother, was she your father's second wife?
no. That was grandparents. That was not, no. My grandmother, Mary Ann Coyle, was married a second time to Gal. Wasn't us. No, but anyway,
Susie, do you have a pen or a pencil?
Yeah. I'll get you another one.
she was usually there making in school.
She was what?
She was sitting there around by the fireside, the open fire. And I remember that she used to call to one family. There was a little tiny tin.
Do you mind if I put this here?
No.
Or here, I'll just hold it. It doesn't. It's recording our voice, but it doesn't record from a long way away. And
Here you go, Dave.
thank you. I don't want it to intimidate you, but I want it to.
But she'd be sitting there, so I noticed that she asked one of the others. It was a little tiny canister up on top of a press, and she would ask to get that for her. So I wondered what's going on. So it was a little snuff can, this big, little tiny tin. So when they gave it to her, she just took the thing. She sneezed twice and she handed it back to me. And I saw this happen a few times, you know. And I thought to myself, it must be great. You know, what did she do it for? Well, she sneezed. Well, I think she had said to them she had a bit of a headache or something. So I thought, well, you know, maybe I have a headache and don't know it. Or maybe if I took this, I wouldn't. I don't know what was. So one day when there was nobody around,
Tamara and
I took
then
an
she had
umbrella
Jennifer after.
and I brought down
There was one with a little bald head with a little ribbon around on the
a
top.
little card,
I know it was a
and I
baby.
opened it. There was nobody around, and I did what she did. This.
It might have been
Immediately,
Katie.
I began to sneeze, and with that, the door opened, and one of my brothers came in.
Yeah, so that must have been
Between the door open, I sneezed right into the thing, and I got coated with snuff.
Oh my.
I was suffocated with the thing. So I, of course, it didn't. I pledged him to silence, of course, and I didn't reach for the little tin anymore after that. See.
I'll bet.
But I often thought how
Carolyn is so sweet. She's
children
just like,
watch
and this
grow
one,
up,
Oh yes.
this one just
And
so rowdy.
be it right
She's
or
starting to get
wrong.
tired when she gets tired. She
Well, if they did it, then
Right.
that's the thing to do, see. So, but there really wasn't, you know.
Well, that's what I wish this would do.
I can see now.
I'm going to write these names down because I'm going to
See
forget.
how
So that was your mom's mom, right? That was your mom's mother.
my grandmother,
Right, your mother's mother.
my mother's mother, yes.
And her name was
She was Mary Ann Coyle.
and Coyle.
L.E. Right,
Okay.
right. But she was the one who married twice. She was my mother's thing, but after they were grown up, she married later to Galvin.
Somebody named Galvin.
Galvin, later.
That was his
to
last name?
William Galvin, I think was his name. We didn't have anything to do with him much because my mother's brothers were growing up and they went to England and out to here. After that, see, they didn't, once she married, they were young teenagers and they weren't going to be staying around, you see.
I see.
You know, so, but that was the only names there that,
What else about her? Tell me more about her.
about who?
About Mary Ann Coyle, your grandmother.
Well, she was the only, you know, she died a couple of years after that, you know, and except to be,
So that
be
would,
around our house
They love
when my parents were away or anything, she didn't pay any functioning, she just socialized and just sat around. And when they went away for the 2 or 3 weeks in the summertime, she came in and out and was there. She didn't make any decisions or anything. My brother Johnny was the oldest boy at home in the house. And Mary Dale's mother was the oldest girl. And we knew automatically whatever they said or did, that was the thing. There was one thing though that was very nice when they went away. They felt very comfortable leaving, even though there was little ones there. They
If you have the address, yes, you'll have the address.
went away because they.
We'll have to get yours now, Mary.
Now, my father was very quiet in his way. My mother understood
There's a
better
pad there right beside you, Mary.
the needs more of young people for
You
socializing.
can take that with you.
And I can always remember her turning to my oldest brother at home when they were leaving and telling him to be sure and have his friends on the Sunday nights. Not Saturday nights over there, but Sunday night was the night they'd have dances in the home or that. So she was telling him the only thing was just be finished by 12 o'clock. But, and the girl, the oldest girl, knew that they provided refreshments and such like. And someone had a violin or an accordion. And the young fellows and girls from the neighborhood came in No, I never saw drinking or smoking. They